Thank you LEGO for sending this set for review. The Endurance is at the center of one of the most impressive resilience stories in human history, due to the incredible leadership skills of Sir Ernest Shackleton. But where is the man in this LEGO set, and does the model live up to the expectations? Let's find out. In a ship-deprived portfolio, seeing a new sea vessel such as this made out of LEGO gives fans a reason to be really excited. I for one was one of them, but maybe not for the reasons you'd expect. You see, 3 years later the Titanic still is one of my favorite LEGO builds ever, so the thought of getting to face a similar building experience with the LEGO Endurance got my hopes up. The final model is nothing short of amazing for a couple of reasons, and I'll start with the cloth sails, which are probably the standout feature of the entire thing. While it may not look like it, there's 8 different types of sails, closely matching the number and style that were present in the real-life ship, and while the attachments for most of them were done with the usual ball joints on LEGO Technic frames kind of way, 2 of the jib sails at the bow are actually held in place with string, which made for an interesting building step I never experienced before, while the string itself is going all sorts of ways for an extra level of detail and realism that is surely appreciated, as is the red ensign flag with this extra white portion where the holes to display it on a bar element are. It also has this wavy cut, which is interesting, though I wouldn't have minded a perfectly rectangular shaped one. The model sits on a minimalistic brown base complete with a printed plaque detailing some stats about the barkentine type vessel this is, one of a couple prints the model has, which I'm happy to say has 0 stickers at all. Another of those prints reads Endurance with the iconic golden letters and star that can still be seen in the shipwreck of the actual ship. Close to it there's the rudder and propeller made golden to stand out against the black hull of the model, where in real life the propeller was actually black as mentioned in the building instructions. There will be lots of little snippets of information like these throughout the pages, as well as the usual introduction pages, which I did appreciate to learn more about the model. The propeller itself can be spun at a flick of a finger, but the rudder can actually be turned via a simple mechanism connected to the steering wheel above, adding a bit of play I do appreciate. In here, the use of brown rack elements for stairs as access points to navigate the different decks was a nice detail that can be seen in other parts of the ship, as well as these 1x1 rounded printed tiles for portholes that the set has 32 of. Would have liked that the flat surface of this deck was kept in all decks for a consistent look, as opposed to the studded surfaces that can be seen in some places, though I'd love to know what you all think about it. But I guess in this particular case it was a necessity due to the fact that taking a few things out of the way ends up revealing cabins for both Shackleton and an expedition scientist, where we can find a 2x2 printed tile with the map of Antarctica, my favorite printed piece of the model. Another deck section can be removed in a much harder way to do than the previous one, which ends up revealing another interior detail that can actually be taken out to display the triple expansion steam engine of the vessel. This is also where the spool with the extra string is kept to keep the tension of the ropes above, which is a clever way of making sure the strings are kept at a perfect length. A lot more details can be seen here, like the steam funnel, the rope ladders, and 2 of the 4 lifeboats the set has. There's 2 different types, even though you can hardly tell the difference, and I honestly found them really interesting builds as far as the building techniques went. You can kinda peek down here at a lower deck, and above, another of those studded deck sections I'm not crazy about. Same with the skeleton leg pieces used to keep the white bar pieces for railings in place. Still a lot of detailing can be seen that nautical decor fans will surely appreciate, and in that regard the bow is heavily stacked with those, out of which I'll highlight the bower anchor resting on the side here and a few decorative elements that do look nice. The main hull is overall nicely shaped, as you can see the curvature all around, especially from a distance. But as you look closer you start seeing all of the different types of elements used that make it look a bit staggered, which is fine, but not a seamless and refined look I got to experience when building the LEGO Titanic. That one was miles apart in terms of building techniques, so while the Endurance did not meet my expectations in that regard, I still had a great time building it. And for an even greater time, I suggest you do it while watching the Disney Plus documentary, which I did to prepare for this review. The lifeboats were great as mentioned before, a lot of the living quarters were built sideways and it was extremely satisfying sliding some of the deck sideways into place for that perfect studless look. It was also interesting having to use this extra base to keep the model straight while working on different parts of this set. In the end, these pieces aren't used for anything else, making them leftovers. I was also very surprised by how light the model feels. Granted, the hull is mostly hollow, but still. I guess I'm too used to picking up the Titanic, which has 3 times the piece count, so there's that. In terms of size, the LEGO Endurance is about half the length of the LEGO Titanic, and both models are not in scale to one another. For that to be true, the LEGO Endurance should have been about a third of its current size. And now that I think about it, actually LEGO has done a fair share of ships this year, namely the Durmstrang ship from Harry Potter and the Orca from the LEGO Ideas Jaws set. All 3 really impressive models, to be honest, so I guess fans do have reasons to be happy in this department. Now, when it comes to pricing, a 3000 piece LEGO model such as this would easily be around $300, but this one is in fact $270, which is honestly really fair. Don't forget that there's no stickers, only prints, LEGO string, lots of large pieces and 8 different pieces of cloth sails, 10 in total, plus the red Ensign flag, which are all pricier things to produce when compared to regular LEGO bricks. Is it a lot of money to give in one go? Yes, it is. I'm not denying that, but I also think you'll get your money's worth out of this one, which you can't really say from other IP-based ships around the block. The major complaint that I and many people will surely have about the model though is the lack of an Ernest Shackleton minifigure. It exists and will be handed out for free as a gift with purchase set to people who buy the LEGO Endurance on day 1 while supplies last. But honestly, that's not enough, and a ton of people will miss out on it. It is the survival history of Ernest Shackleton and his crew that made the Endurance relevant, and not the other way around, so at the very minimum it should have been included as part of the main model. With that said, if you end up getting the LEGO Endurance, you'll have an awesome looking ship model in your hands that displays nicely and should fit most bookshelves due to being relatively thin, provided you have enough height clearance for the masts. It is no LEGO Titanic, that's for sure, but at a fraction of the price and a superior build than most, you will not be disappointed. It will be available for purchase in just a few days, so be sure to keep an eye out for that, links in the description. Especially so if you don't want to miss the gift with purchase set Shackleton's Lifeboat that I'll also be reviewing soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.